Thank you everyone who has stuck with me for this whole 8 hours. It's been a trial. We're in game number 4 of our losers final. The end is nigh. The end is nigh. Up here on the north left side of Heavy Rain from Alloy Esports. On his last legs, can he tie this series up again? He is the Donut. And down here in the bottom right, from Infinity Gaming, the Red Terran. One game away from a finals appearance and a chance at the title for the season. She is MyDarling. Just pushing on 8 hours now. We've put in a full 9 to 5 day of work, and we still got a couple of more games to go. Donut going for Gateway, Darling barracks, and gas. Reaper's exceptionally good on this map. Earlier in the day, Donut taking out Darling in a 2-0 that was rather not convincing in a game in a series that Darling really had won, and then Donut managed to eke victory from the jaws of defeat. Looks like we might have a standard gateway expand here, but Darling turning the tables around here with a 2-1 in this best of 5. Again, everything to play for in 3rd, 4th place. Winner gets at least 2nd and a chance at the title against Towley. Excuse me. Donut wants revenge on Towley for the injustice thrust upon him. Darling hasn't played Towley yet tonight, but has played Towley in the past. Those two well aware of each other's existence. Donut, Darling, Towley, each staples of Sunday Mass, each played each other several times. It feels fitting that they all come down here to play for the title. We're gonna come up here and meet 3 Marines and try and hug one before it gets blown to smithereens. And it looks like Darling gonna go for a similar 1-1-1 to what she did in game number 1. It's a very strong play. We might actually see a medevac into a Widow Mine drop instead. Forge goes down, and Nexus is about to be finished up. The ship core very, very strong at this point in the game. Gonna have enough for a photon overcharge whenever these attacks come. Goes for an immediate tech lab on both of those. We're gonna see exactly the same thing we saw in game number 1. Darling tried a similar build like this in game number 2, I think 1 or 2, game number 1 I think it was. In the early series against Donut, she managed to deflect an Oracle and then a Void Ray. But unfortunately, poor positioning kind of gave her the defeat there. Do not have Banshees though, so Banshee's an interesting twist on this whole build, and I feel it helps a lot. Donut's gonna try and go. Is he gonna go for a Robo Bay? No, goes for an Immortal. He's aware that Darling is cooking up something here. Much longer rush distance than Habitation Station. We'll have to see if this works out here. And it looks like Darling's going to move across the map. What does Donut have at home? He's got a photon overcharge and a sentry and 2 stalkers that are actually out on the map. You have to be very careful. RoboBay gets started. That means there's not going to be a lot here for Donut to defend with. We're going to see the real power of photon overcharge. Where are the Marines here? Cannot lose that tank. That tank is crucial. That tank is absolutely crucial here. No medevacs either. Just pure tank Banshee. And the Banshee can come over here. It would try and do some damage. The problem is there's a cannon in the mineral line, so it's going to have to dart around and be microed quite a bit more than usual. But you know what? That's pretty good. And as far as the photon overcharge on the high ground, but you know what? There's actually another photon overcharge on that mothership core. Donut not making his move. Doesn't have the gas for Colossi yet. Really needs to be careful. Photon overcharge available on both Nexi. But if Donut's not careful, he could actually lose this Nexi before it even happens. And in fact, he's going to lose this Nexus. Donut, not much of a reaction here. He's content to sacrifice the Nexus. Not even pulling the probes, though. Now he's pulling the probes. A bit of a slap there. And where is Donut? He's not producing anything. He's really trying to come to terms with how the hell is he going to actually survive this time. Photon overcharge is gone, but he does have that other one on the mothership core. Stalker getting a little far ahead of itself. A couple of Widow Mines here. And 2 Banshees. This is a really, really strong push here from Darling. Is it going to be enough to get her into the finals? Is Donut gonna fall here? 3-1. It's a really, really closely contested fight here. 2 Immortals. That's gonna do a lot of work, but actually the Immortal blocked in there for a second. And Darling might actually force the hand here. Here comes the overcharge. And the units from the side now. Here we go. Photon overcharge, a really strong unit. It's going to take out that tank. Actually, no, it will not take out the tank. Darling actually kind of focused in here. An expansion goes down as she realizes she might not be able to win with this push. Donut trying to push back here. Losing gateways, though. And as soon as that photon overcharge goes... Well, actually, he has another photon overcharge after that. Under the rain of photon overcharge, here we go. Banshees, sentries, Widow Mines, everything going down. Actually the tanks go down. The Banshee is trying to do some work, but the Colossi is just enough here, and Darling's gonna have to pull back. And this is kind of what happened to her in the first game. She fell to a counterattack like this. Is she gonna be able to defend? I don't think she can. Going to try and bunker up, but it might be just a little late. Going to definitely lose the natural. No way in hell she can actually survive to save that. Does that Colossi actually have thermal lance? No, it does not. Little mispathing, though. Actually might be the saving grace here. This is going to be really tough. There are no Vikings. And that Colossi might be the key to all of this. Darling in a lot of trouble. Down 71 supply to 51. And that is not going to stay up. That base is going down. And you know what? With the Banshees actually outranged the Colossi. That's the problem. And the command center is actually saved. Another Viking being made. This is actually getting pretty tense. There's another Colossi on the field. Over moving down the middle of the map. Can Darling actually save this? If she kills off all the anti-air, the Banshees can actually win this. But is it enough? Cloak might not have been such a poor investment right about now. I'm going to try and kite those Stalkers. Stalkers have the same range as a Banshee. Blink not even remotely close to done. So there will be no blinking up the ridge. She will have to Donut will have to go through every single bunker. This is going to be a hell of a hold, though. That siege tank is in a really awkward spot. Going to siege up, though. And Banshees are trying to do what they can. Meanwhile, Donut taking a Nexus behind this. He's not convinced that he can actually win this with just this. Is that a third collide? No, that is an Observer. I apologize. I thought that was a... Well, alright. SCV's on auto repair, actually repairing. Alright, a pretty good volley there on that one Colossi. You know what? This game might just equalize. Donut with a slight probe lead. Darling, though, with double orbital. Almost mined out of her main, though. In fact, both players are pretty much mined out of their mains. So this hard contain here might actually go in favor of Donut in the war of attrition. It really depends. Oh, Darling salvaged a lot of bunkers. I don't know if that was the right choice. Going to use the command center, the factory to try and float over here. Donut. He's got a really scary army right now. Try and take a couple of volleys off on these units. Siege tank taking out a couple of Stalkers. Going to try and reposition here. Blink is started, so a blink up on this ridge would be an option in a little bit. And bit odd here as we have just a touch of lag. Pylon gets thrown down, and that actually might force Donut to back up. Possibly, it all depends. And might want to lift up that factory again. Actually does not. Don't lose the factory. And in a straight up fight, I'm not certain who wins here. That's not a lot of Colossi, and that's a lot of Banshees. If the anti-air gets taken out, but Blink is done, and a blink up into the main would be catastrophic. Could definitely outposition the army, and that's exactly what Donut's going for here. He's just going to blink up and... well, no, okay. Yes, he's going to blink up here and bring the Colossi with him. And here we go. The hell with ridges! I've got blink! And this is bad. This is really awkward. The positioning here from Donut really strong. Colossi going to go down. One Colossi falls. Another one could get focus fire down behind us. Meanwhile, over at the natural... oh, actually, the Immortal and the Zealots pull back. And a Banshee goes down! Actually, 2 Banshees went down, I believe. Possibly 3. Yes, in fact, 3 Banshees go down to the Blink Stalkers, but without the Colossi, this is actually a very winnable battle here for Darling. Still 1 Colossi left, and it goes down immediately. This is a really, really tough fight. The tank is not sieged. The Vikings are going to try and land. It's mostly Stim Marauders and a tank and some Vikings and medevacs, but there's just too many Stalkers. Is there? I think there is. Just too many Stalkers. And all those medevacs actually go down as well. 2 Marauders here, not going to be enough. We're going to go to game 5 here in just a minute. Nice blink away from the Widowmine. GG. Donut survives the all-in and then goes into Blink, the dreaded 17-minute Blink build.